Hi there, welcome to Bouncy Learning Videos and another section on Let's Learn Cybersecurity. So today I'll be talking about network and networking devices. So let's delve straight into it. So what is a network? You may be in an organization where you send emails to your colleagues or even your superiors, right? Then yes, you are on a network. It consists of two or more devices, and these devices could be a phone, a laptop, a scanner, a printer, and what have you. These devices are linked together in order to share data and resources. So this diagram will explain the whole thing about network, okay? So here we could see the ISP, which could be the internet. Then we also have a router, right? Then we have the laptop connected with the Wi-Fi. Then we have the desktop connected with the Ethernet. So that's the lines. We also have the printer. We have the PlayStation. Of course, this can be for office, right? So this will be probably a home network, right? So the whole idea about network is communication, right? So what it does is this laptop could send an email to this phone, right? This same laptop could send an email to this desktop and vice versa. It could also send a command, right, to the printer to probably print something or scan something. So the whole idea about network is communication, right? Okay. What is a network device? From here, we saw some devices here. We saw a laptop, we saw a router, we saw a phone, we saw a printer, we saw a PlayStation. All these are devices. So they are electronic devices that communicate with other electronic devices. These are all electronic devices, right? Or computing devices. And they communicate with each other on the network or on a network. Repeater. In our day to day life activities, right? There are times you'd want to whisper something to someone's ear, but probably the person is too far for the person to hear. So probably you would shout, right? So you shouting, the person or the destination person wouldn't entirely hear the whole thing. So that's when the repeater comes in. So the repeater just increases network reach, right? So it resonates, right? It resonates or it amplifies the signals to the destination device. So let's take this analogy or diagram, right? Okay, so we could see that this computer is trying to send a signal to this computer, right? So we realize that the signal from the computer is weak. In other words, before it will get here, I'm sure this computer wouldn't get almost all the signal, probably half or nothing at all, right? So this what the repeater will do is it will amplify the signal for this, okay, to hear or for the signal to be reachable. Okay, so that's what the repeater does. Next is the hub. From here, we saw how the router looked so centralized. So it's like a centralized networking device that connects all these devices. That's what that's what a hub also does. Okay, so the hub is done in such a way that it would connect all the networking devices on the network together. So it links them, multiple networking devices. But one bad thing about it is it broadcasts all signals to almost all the devices on the network, right? So you could see from here, computer one is trying to send data to computer four, but unfortunately, the app is not programmed in such a way that it would automatically send the message to the actual destinations or computer or laptop, unfortunately. So if you have a hub or if you have a hub like this in your office or at home, that will lead to a security breach. Okay, so let me put it in this example for you to understand well. So imagine this computer one is, let's say, the MD, okay, so the managing director sending a financial data to four, and here four is the finance team. Of course, in your company, you will have the secretary and the executive assistant, right? You also have some interns. That's number three. So imagine you having a hub on your in your network environment. Your MD will send financial data to four. It's assuming that it's sending the message or the financial data to the finance team. But the hub would rather broadcast all the data or all the financial data to almost all the departments. So we have the interns seeing the financial data. That's a big risk. So if you have a hub in your office, I would advise you to change it. Okay, I think previous slide will let you know where to or which which networking device will be appropriate for your company. Okay, all right. So the next on the list is Swish. A Swish also does the same thing as a hub, but fortunately, the Swish is programmed in a smart way. Okay, so it also connects multiple networking devices on the network together so that they can all share or communicate with each other. But upon configuring into your networking environment, it would first broadcast because it wouldn't know all the addresses of your networking devices or your computers or your electronic devices on the network. So first of all, it would broadcast. But then after the first broadcast, the switch will cache. So it will permanently, sometimes temporarily, it will store the addresses for each of the networking devices on your on your network, right? So that in this instance, computer one is trying to send data to computer four, the switch would smartly, okay, send the data to just four, but not to two and three. So that's how the switch is programmed. It sends data to the intended user or intended laptop or computing device. Okay, so as I mentioned that a hub is not good for your company, you would have to switch to a switch. Yeah, so you would have to change it to a switch. Okay, so if you have a hub in your computer or you have a hub in your computing environment as an organization, I would advise you to switch to a switch. Okay, all right, folks. So this this would end our session for today, which was on network and networking device. Realize I didn't talk about a router because router has a whole lot of things you are supposed to read and learn on. So I think subsequent ones we'll talk about the router, we'll talk about some addresses. I think I talked about addresses, okay, where the switch would store the address for all the networking devices. So we talk about IP addresses, MAC addresses, yes. Okay, so bye. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. All right.